Welcome. This is Melinda Barlow, CZT, Certified Tangle Teacher. And Dinoflor is the tangle for today. It's a fun little bright tangle. I loved it doing it on a gray paper with white, and I am going to do it on a black tile. And oh, this is by Suzanne Fluke. You know, I'm not sure what her last, if it's Fluker, ZZT, Suzanne, sorry, but it's a great tangle. So we're going to start out with, which I think are kind of fun because they're like a fescue, and I'm just going to come up and I'm going to do a little fescue. And I prefer to go ahead and do my echoes around it, or my auras around it, right away. So we're going to come up off of that. So we have two, and then I'm just going to put my auras around that little fescue. And then we're just going to keep going up and branching off. And I find that doing this, I can get, I don't have them running together too much. I can space them how I want them. But they just branch off of each other. So you just keep going and letting them branch off. Fill in that little center, and then do an aura, a double aura around them. That one's going to be kind of tiny, but that's okay. And now Suzanne comes back, and I think this really adds to this tangle. We're going to come back and we're just going to put some little arcs in between. So even where it's just a little split, we're just going to put these arcs, lines. And I couldn't determine whether it really mattered how many you did. You just kind of do them till you like it. That's what I found for myself. I just kind of put them in and till I felt like it felt good. Oh, and by the way, I'm using an 05 jelly roll, which is a little finer point than your 08. And I like it because it gives a really fine little color on white. That little jelly roll is just very fine, and so you can see that I'm getting a little look. I went back in and I striped these little ones on this one. I went back in and gave it a little stripe, and so you could go back in and you could start at the very bottom and then just stripe them up, just to give yourself a little bit different, look to your tangle. You could leave them plain, but when I stripe, I want to always start, I start at the bottom and then I work my way up filling, because I want to stop with a solid line at the end. So if I start down here at the bottom, and this one didn't have a solid, so I could do one more and fill it in and I'd be okay. If I start at the top and work down, I may end up with nothing to fill in. So I always start down here at the bottom and then work my way up. And it might be easier for me to use the little wider tipped Jelly Roll, the 08. Might fill it in just a little bit better. Let's just change out to the 08 and just see how it just puts down a little bit more ink. That tip's a little wider. And there we needed one more. There's several of them that I'm glad I started at that bottom, because I was able to fill that in and give it just a little different look. I love this Tangle. I love Fecue, so I really, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, I love that, and it'll be an easy one for me to do. You could take and add a little color to this, so we could take, I'm going to take my turquoise Jelly Roll, or whatever color you like. I like the little turquoise one. It's kind of fun. And I'm just going to put some dots in here, in that outer loop, just to give it a little color. And Jelly Roll, you don't have to press hard. It takes a little longer to dry, so you do need to watch that you don't put your hand over the top of that you just laid down, because it will smear. Doesn't dry quite as fast as the pigment pens, but it just adds a little fun touch. So I'm also going to take my chalk pencil and just give me some little, I want some little highlights in here. So up my stem, I'm just going to use my general, a little chalk, white. Oh, look, I forgot one. Sometimes when I go to shade, that's when I find out I have forgotten one. Then I'm going to take one of my shading stumps to make sure it's clean, because I don't know, I don't always watch. And then I'm just going to blend out that chalk so it kind of fades into the background. And there we have just such a fun little tangle. I loved it. Let's see if we can get this one on top that I just did. Thanks, Suzanne, for Dinoflor. It is a fun little tangle and easy, and I think you'll enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. New videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Share it with your friends, and support comes by shopping at inkadoodles.com. Thanks again, and have a great day.